Good day to you, gentle person, and thank you for joining me as we have a look at Sweep the Sector. And this is kind of like Minesweeper, but much better looking, much cooler, much more interesting. And as always, there's just a game in your browser, so the link will be in the description. Come and give it a look. I heartily recommend that. And we're going to go through it a bit. We're going to play a little bit of it, and we're going to then maybe give it some critique at the end. Or maybe I'll try and wrap the critique in as we're playing it. I need to try and do that more, so we're not divided the video into the interesting gameplay bit and the boring critique bit. Let's have a look at the settings page before we jump in, and it's just the excellent quality of life controls that we like to see. I have played this on Firefox, it worked fine. I'm now playing it on Chrome, and we shall see together whether or not it works fine, but I'm not seeing the likelihood of many issues there. So the basic idea is that we are some kind of convict, and the government needs to sweep a sector of space where there are bad guys. And so basically what they're doing is they're grabbing convicts, they're shoving them into ships that can sort of repair themselves as they go along, and they're saying, go check the sector. And if you die, they're like, oh well, it's a little bit of resources and the convict lost, who really cares? They find another convict and they shove them in. So yeah, very dystopian kind of future, but you know, the practical necessity and all of that kind of stuff, it makes for some good writing, and I like the fact that this game has that much storyline in it. So let's hit play and look at the gameplay. Here is the basic story. Listen up, inmate random number. You're looking at execution in 48 hours, but command needs someone expendable for a sweep mission through hostile territory. Enemy sector, heavy resistance, 0 support. Make it through alive and your record gets wiped clean. Die out there and, well, you were dead anyway. Your ship's equipped with basic shields, a rudimentary scanner, and a scavenger rig. Parts you strip off enemy hells can recharge your defenses. That's it. That's all you get. The sector is crawling with Dominion fighters, war machines, and worse. Intel says there's a command core somewhere in there powering their extinction engines. Find it, kill it, or those engines will vaporize you on contact. Dismissed. So that is the basic story in a nutshell, and then we can click on begin mission and we can see exactly how it works. Sweep the sector. Cool title drop. So looking at the way this works, unfortunately there is no tutorial, and I suppose that is my strongest UI critique. No tutorial. We do have some good UI in terms of quality of life controls. We don't seem to be able to get back to the menu, but we can just mute the sound over there. We do have, that's about it, I guess. That's all of the environmental controls we have. So a little bit lacking there, but not really that much of an issue. Top left we have our shields. That is, if we fight something with more offense than our current shield level, then we lose. If we fight something with the same offense as our shield level or less, we win. We have parts for repairing. Currently we have 0 of 4, but we get parts equal to the enemy ship that we attack, the resistance level of that enemy ship, and we use parts to regenerate our shields, and then we have the measurement of the amount of map that we have cleared. Okay, this guy just tells us stuff. It's kind of our commander who's looking over our shoulder, and this is us in the middle here. We have a ship. Ignore the 18 for now. That has nothing to do with our ship. It is the measure of the space around us. So we have a ship. We can click on one of these hexagonal cells and go into it, and then depending on what is in the cell will depend on what's happening to us. For example, if we click up here to the top left, we get a shield reset. Cha-ching. And we have now sort of measured that sector. He tells us we've recovered a shield surge, which is now sitting in our inventory over there. We've cleared that sector, and we can get the rating of the surrounding sectors, like in Minesweeper. Down here, this thing is fine. We get some parts. So we get... Oh, okay, no. So that's just a stash that we can get anything out of. What we got in this case was... shield recovery? I don't know. Did that just recover our shields, but because we hadn't lost any, we didn't get anything? We don't have a second shield surge. That sucks. Alright, well maybe we'll get some parts in this one. Yeah, 3 parts. Alright, so we've got 3 parts there. We can't quite recover our shields because we need 4 to do it. But we can, we're that much closer. We've got some spare parts to do it. Now we have gotten all the freebies that they have given us. Now we need to actually engage in some combat. And this is where the minesweeper logic comes in. So if we look up at the top left here, we see this hexagonal area has 2 cells that we can view accompanying it. We have a 22 and we have a 1. So this means that adjacent to this 22, well, adjacent to this cell, there are threats that make up the total of 22. So we can see that there's 8. So divided amongst these 3 cells that we can't see, we know there's, what's 22 minus 8? 14, I think. So there's 14 divided amongst these. So it could be 1 enemy of 14 and 2 empties. It could be, we know that this cell has a 1 in it because of this cell here. So it'll be sort of, could be 1 and then an enemy of 13, or it could be a 1 and an enemy of 7 and an enemy of 6. So that's how we need to calculate the threats, and only go for threats that equal our shield level, our current shield, whatever our current shield level is. That is the number on the left, not our possible total shield, but whatever we actually have. So we have 5 shield, and we know we can beat someone of a level of 5 threat. So we can go inside there, attack that enemy. He consumes our 5 shields, but we have beaten him. And he gives us 5 spare parts because he was a level 5 guy. So we now have, the reason it's going woo woo is that our shields are down to 0, but the rebuild shields button appears because we have 4 parts. So this is the amount that we need to rebuild our shields, and this is the amount that we have. So if we click rebuild shields, we stop that horrible noise, we consume the 4 parts, and we now have 4 parts left, but our requirement to repair our shields goes up by a point. So we now need 5 parts to rebuild our shields again. Now sometimes our shields go up as well. I'm not quite sure what the mechanism is to decide whether or not our shields go up. It might be to do with the clearing of the area, so we can attack a higher level enemy, but at the moment we can still only attack an enemy of 5 maximum. But we do have four parts left. So what we can do is we can kill this dude, who's also only 5, and get our 5 parts back again. So let's take him out. We again consumed all of our shield, but we got 5 parts from him, so we went over our shield level, and we can rebuild our shields. Okay, and our numbers didn't change, so we didn't get an increase to the parts required to rebuild our shields. We didn't get an increase to our actual shields. So yeah, that was quite of a neutral thing, but we have cleared an extra cell. Now this one says 5 over here, which means that as this is the only blanked out cell that we can see, this must be a 5, so we can jump in there and attack him quite safely. So we've killed him. Let's rebuild our shields, and we went up to 6, but now we also need 6 parts to repair our shields. But we can see that there is a 6 here somewhere, so this could be 6, this could be empty, and this could be 6, and then combined with the 14, or this could be, yeah. So we know that this cannot be 14. This has to be a maximum of 6 because that's the highest level there. So let's check out this corner one, or this could be sort of 3 and 3 for all we know. So this is a bit more of a risk, but we do have parts there. Okay, so this was a 5. We took it down. We can rebuild our shields, but we can also see that we have a 1 there and a 1 there that we can take down, and that will consume our final point, clear an empty cell out while we can do it, give us one more part, and will show us a bit more what's going on. So I don't want to rebuild shields now. I want to rebuild shields as close to when they're empty as possible. If we can empty them as much as we can, that's how you kind of win this game. That's the secret. So we jump in there, we defeat this level 1 guy. Our shields are now down to 0, but we got a little bit of information on the space to see what we could fight, and we were down to 0, so we can resurrect it. We're up to 6. Now we know that one of these is just 5. So we can safely push into here. Alright, let's dive into here and see what it is. Alright, so that was an empty cell. We know that one of these is 6. And we know that this one is 5, so it'll be 5 and 1. So we can probably clear these 2 cells out. So let's jump into this one, consume the 5. And then we can jump into this one, consume the 1. We've emptied our shields out again. Let's rebuild. Alright, so we are up to 7, but it also now takes 7 to refill our power there. And we can see that one of these is trouble. I'm guessing this one is 100. And this one is 2 and this one is 5. Because I think you have these like extinction engines that we're never going to be able to fight, but if we manage to kill the command core, then they just turn into rubble that we can pick up. So we must remember that this is an extinction engine. And I think it's going to be that one. Because I don't think there's any like 50s, so it's not going to be 50 and 50. I think it is 100, and that's 2. Yeah, so that's and that's probably 5, which means that's probably also 5. 8 plus 13 is 5. So yeah, so these 2 are 5. Alright, let's run the risk and get this one. Actually, let's get this one. Let's get this one out. Okay, you see, I was right. Now this is going to say it's 100, which means that we know that this one is only a 2, because that has to be the 100. So we can get this one, empty our shields out. We've cleared out this sector. We know that there's a massive risk over there. So rebuild the shields. We're still at 7. Alright, I was hoping we would jump up to 8 so we can get that guy. Now we know that this is 100, so these 2 must only be 5 between them. Alright, let's clear these out. Okay, so that was a 4. This is a 1. Okay, so that's a 14 between those 2. This is 11 between those 3. Alright, so we only have 2 shields on us at the moment. I don't want to rebuild if we don't have to. We can clear this one out, because this one is just a 1. Okay. So now we have to consume our rebuild shields here, because we don't have the ability to clear anything else out. Okay, so we're up to 8. We're up to 8, and we have enough parts to be able to repair our 8. So we can take this guy out. Rebuild our shields. Okay, we're up to... Okay, now this is where it starts getting difficult, because now we need 9 parts, but we only have 8 shields. So yeah. Alright, so now we know that these 2 between them are a total of 7, so we can clear these 2 out and see what we get from there. Oh, okay, that one's empty, so that one is definitely a 7. And somewhere around here is a 100. Alright, and a 9. Okay, so this is a risky area. We have a 5 we can kill here. We have a 14 over here. Alright, let's kill the 7 out, because we can do that, and I think it's our highest attack that we can do. So let's take care of this lad. And we can rebuild shields. We don't have any more 1s, so we're going to have to consume it there. Alright, so now we need 10 to refill, but we only have 8, and we're down to 9. So we desperately... We're in trouble here, because we need bonus parts somewhere, and we don't have them. Alright. We can get the 5 there, but unless we have a 3, we're in trouble. We don't know where this 100 is. Alright, let's kill this 6 and see what it reveals. Alright, so now we are in difficulties because we don't know. We know. Alright, if that's a 5, then that's a 7, so that means there must be 2. But we don't get enough to rebuild, so I think we might have bundled ourselves into a corner here. So this must be a 2. Oh, we do have a shield recharge. Alright, so we might have to consume that. I tend to forget about those, but that's fine. So let's take this guy down so we can kill those 2. We can see a little bit better what's going on here. And we consume our shield recharge. Alright, that must be the 100 because, and this must be a 2. So we can consume you. That means this must be a 4. And you're a 5. So let's consume this 5. I wonder if we're going to reveal that there's a 1 here. Okay, so yeah, so we can consume this 1 as well. So that has to be a 1, and I think it means we're going to have some clear ones over there. Alright, rebuild the shields. So that's a 4, which means this must be empty, so we can go have a look in there. So it's a 13. This must be empty because there is an empty cell next to it saying there's nothing in there. Great, another shield recharge. I think we needed that. So one of these must be an 8. Okay, so that must be the 8, which means this has to be empty. Am I right about that? Yeah, because that's the 100. So that must be the 8 because that's 108. So this must be empty. Okay. 18. So we've got an 8 there that we might be able to just consume. And then 10 amongst those. Alright, let's kill you. See how that changes things. Okay, so that's the 100. So this must be empty. And that must be a 3. Whew, okay, we're surviving here. So that has to be a 3. That must be a 1. If that is a 3... No, that must be an 11. That is the 3, this is 14, so that must be the 11. Okay, I nearly made a horrible mistake there. We can rebuild our shields. Yeah, I think we're going to have to. So there's a 4. So we know that's 100. That's a 200. So one of those must be another 100. And a 7. Alright, we can kill the 3 and the 4. I think we need to do that. So let us consume you. And consume you. Uh-oh, that didn't give us enough. Oh, and I don't want to consume my other shield. Alright, I think that must be a 9. Which means I think this might be empty. Which means that's... No, it can't be. Because if that's the 100, then that's the 5. Then that must be a 4. And that must also be a 5. That must then be a 4, and that must then be a 10. And those two will be 16 between them. Okay, so that's the 10 there. Alright. No, that's the 10 there, so there must be 2 10s? Alright, so we're going to have to consume our shield surge. And I think this must be a 5. This has to be a 5. Yeah. Oh, we've got a free 1. Okay, nice. Then let's kill this 4 out. We can empty our shields and that. And get a rebuild. We're up to 13. No, that's not. Alright, so that's a 5, and I think that must be a 4 as well. Let's kill the 5. We'll see if that drops to 4. Oh, that's also a 5. Is there no 4 anywhere that we can kill? I don't want to consume this rebuild, but I don't think we have a choice. Alright, so we're up to 10 at least, and we can kill this lad. And I think that means that that then turns into parts for us. So let's kill this guy. Yeah, and then we get some parts down here. Oh, we don't get enough parts. Okay, no, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. Okay, that must be empty. Alright, yes, because we killed the things. Alright, so we can rebuild our shields. And I think that must have been the other 100. So let's go there. We can collect some more parts there. Alright. Let's kill these 2 5s and then we can get a shield rebuild out of them. Alright. So you can go. And you can go. Rebuild shields. Now we're up to 16. That sucks. That sucks. Alright, so you have to be a 3, which means you must be empty. You have to be empty. And you have to be empty. Oh, we get something there. What are we getting? Oh, some parts. Okay. 8, 9, 10, 11. Whew. Alright, so that's 3. That's 10. What's that? So that must be 7. Alright, so this must be empty. Oh cool, we got some more parts there. Nice. Wait, so we've got an 8 there. If that is 10, then you must be empty. Am I right about that? I think I'm right about that. Because there's the 8. There's the 10. No, that's just a 7. No, you aren't empty. Alright, you're a 2. I wish we had a shield surge. Alright, you're a 9. 9 plus 6? 9. That'd be 15, so we'll be screwed there. Alright, well let's kill the 10, because I think that then gives us... Oh no, you're not a 10, you're a 7. Okay, but other way, so the 2 together will be 10. So let's kill you. And kill you, and that should give us a recharge. Okay, we're up to 11, so we can kill an 11. But we need 17, so we're in trouble. Oh, that's not an 11. 8, 9, 10, 11. You must be empty. No, you can't be empty. You must be 3. You must be empty. Because 8 plus 3 is 11, so you must be empty. Alright, so you're saying there's 3 there, so you must be empty. You're saying there are 4 there, so you must be empty. Because you're the 3 and the 1. You're saying there are 3, so you must be a 2. And you're a 2. So it turns 4, so you must be a 4. Yeah, we're in difficulty, so we've got an 11 over there, but we're just going to get 11 parts, and that's not going to help us very much. You must be a 9, so that would be 20, so you must be a 6. 6 and 9 is 15. So if you're saying 15, you must be empty. No, but you can't be empty. You must be empty. No, you can be empty. So you must be... There we go. Shield surge. Nice. Alright. And you must be empty because you are seeing those lads over there. Okay, cool. And parts. They had parts. Only 3 parts, unfortunately. How many do we need? We need 6 parts. Plus all of our regeneration, but we do have a shield regen. So we have an 11 of, oh no, well, we have a total of 11 over there. Do we have any more freebies? So you can see the 9. That means there must be 5 amongst these two. So, okay, so you're the 3. So you must be empty. Another shield surge. Nice. I think we've won this one, guys. I think we've done it. So you must be a 3. No, you must be the 3. How are you 5? So you must be a 2. But then how are you 3? You're saying that that's a 3, you're saying that's a 3, but this is a 5. And I can see both of those. Just, oh no, okay, yeah, so you're the 2. You're the 2, you're the 3. You're the 11. You're the 11. No, because you're mixed up with all those guys. You're a 9. You're an 11. That's 20, so you must be a 6. Alright, we're going to have to consume some shield charges here. Let's get rid of... You're the 3. Alright, let's get rid of this little coterie over here, I think. So 3, you... Oh, no, shit, I made a mistake. Oh, I got it just in time. I messed that up. Something in my calculations was off there. Okay, so you can use your shield charge while you're busy attacking an enemy. Okay, it's valuable to know. Alright, so we can only kill a 10 here, so this is a 9. So let's go get this lad. Alright, do we have any 1s left? No, I don't think we do. So we're going to have to consume the rebuild there. Let's get rid of this 11. Oh yeah, we have just enough for one rebuild there. Alright, so we need 19. We have 2 shield recharges, so we have a 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then the end one. Alright, so we won this. So we hit this guy. Hit this guy. Hit this guy. Consume a shield recharge. And win the game. And that was a lot of brain power being used there. And yeah. You cleared every hostile hex, warlord down, command core destroyed. That is a sweep. Bring in the next convict. He says different things at the end of the other one, but basically we've received our freedom and our pardon, and we're off in the wild world, a free man. But I suppose technically, we did say record wiped, so we're technically not an ex-con. But who knows? Who knows? All right, and that's it. That is the game. There's all the gameplay I'm showing. We gave a little bit of critique that there's no tutorial. Sounds are fine. Art, I think it is really good looking. The gameplay is very enjoyable. If you like Minesweeper, yeah, you know, the good points there. It is fine. There's some logic. There is some cool spacey shooting things. Yeah, look, this is where I think I might annoy a lot of the devs who make it, because as it is, this is a solid game, and I mean, this is the game that it is as it's presented. But I cannot help but thinking about more stuff that I want in a game, even if it changes into a different game. So I would love to be able to modify the ship and do this and do that, and, you know, have layers of extra gameplay and RPG elements and stuff like that in there that would make it a completely different game. And yeah, that is an interesting discussion, because how do you... Why is it gone quiet? How do you balance, where is that balance point? Where is to say, if you make this difference, this game becomes better, versus if you make this change, it's now a different game, and that's not the game that we're trying to present. You know, how do where is that defining line? If you know, if you added RPG elements into here, where would that then make it a different game, or would it make it this game advanced? if the basic mechanism was still modifying your ship to have enough of a threat rating or defense rating to defeat their threat rating, and enough of a threat rating to defeat their defense rating, suddenly you've got this two-tiered thing, and that's technically a different game, but it's still kind of Minesweeper in space, just with extra steps. So is it the same game? I don't know. That is a difficult thing to do. So developers, if you're listening, I'm not trying to tell you to make a different game. I'm trying to suggest that the way the game can be improved, or a new game if you want to make a different game and things like that. But I would love to see more being able to fiddle with the ship to try and optimize the ship against the threat that you're now facing. And then of course it would be nice when you attacked a sector, like you would zoom in and have some kind of space battle, to sort of emulate what's going on, and maybe set the odds a little bit more in your favor there and things like that, so you can beat a slightly higher threat, even though you're slightly below it, by being a better gamer, and that kind of stuff. That would be really nice to see included in this game, if you saw this game as kind of a base idea that you then want to build from, and perhaps build a new game from. And that's kind of where my critiques come from. So yeah, I'm not saying this is a bad game. It is not. It's an amazing game. That's why I'm showing it. I really enjoy this. But if you want to work towards the next level of game with this basic concept in mind, that would be what I would like to see. I would like to see that if you could modify your ship and possibly have an action element to be able to take up slightly higher threats by being more skillful. That would be fantastic. Sweep the Sector version 2, perhaps. But I also like the basic storyline, is where I'm working my way around to. I like the fact that it has given us motivations here. We are a convict thrown in to either die or manage survival somehow. That is a good basic story. That is a good scenario, a good starting plot. Again, sort of story-wise, we could build from that, but at least we have the flag that we are marching behind. At least we know what the storyline is here. Dangerous bad guys, we need a ship to go inside there and sort of skirmish them away. We're a convict flung in, so nobody really cares if we live or die. It's a little bit Warhammer 40k. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Bravo, developers, good game, very enjoyable. I do recommend you guys play it. And thank you for watching. And if you liked or disliked the video, not the game, the video, please leave a like or dislike, and maybe leave a comment telling me why you like it or dislike it, so it's actually meaningful to me. It's actually something I can do something with. And if you want to see more indie games reviewed, don't forget to drop a subscribe. I try to do at least one a day, which is a pretty solid stream of indie games for a fun bit of gameplay being dumped into your inbox. So thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video, and goodbye.